Hey everybody, it's Atheist for the Cause, and I'm here with the part two of the Donald Trump policy issues, and I'm going to be covering the economy this time around. Last time I did introduction and ISIS, so let's move on to the economy. I've covered the economy quite a bit in my videos, but to kind of go over it quickly, there were three parts to this: optimism, jobs, and stocks, according to Scott Adams. So if we want to look at optimism, this is the IBDTIPP poll, Economic Optimism Index. So overall, we're at anything above 50 is optimistic, below 50 is pessimistic. So we're under Trump, things have been quite optimistic and they've dropped a little bit, but they are still they're still optimistic. In March, this big drop, there was a snowstorm and we had really bad weather, and that's what caused a lot of it because we only created about 50,000 jobs. So where normally, net gain of 50,000 jobs, where other months have been gaining like 150 to 200,000 net gains. So, and here's a 6-month economic outlook. It's actually moderately pessimistic. Then the personal financial outlook is way up. This is 60, so this is like a pretty extreme optimism there. And then I shouldn't say extreme, but it's pretty up there. And then federal policies are somewhat low at 42.2. So that's quite a bit below your 50. So you have, it's kind of all over the place, but overall optimism is optimistic. Now, the jobs part. This is non-farm payroll jobs. Under Trump, we just continue to gain jobs. In January, we're at 145,541, and then 145,773, 145,823, 140, and this is in thousands. So 146,030, 146,182, 146,404. This is actually a huge jump in June. So as you can see, we just keep gaining in more and more jobs, and the outlook is pretty good. And you have to add 3 zeros onto this. So 146,404 is actually 146,404,000 jobs. And if you didn't quite get that, just look at the graph. This is yearly. 2008, 2009 was the recession. And then in 2010, we got out of it and started going straight up. And it hasn't slowed down even well into Trump's presidency now. If we look at this one, is the private sector jobs only. We gained 204,000 in January, 222,000 in February. See the 59,000 in March. That was the bad weather month where we disappointed in the economy, but all of the other months have been quite good, and even in March we're still gaining, so it's not that bad. As you can see, even during Obama's gains, we had 17,000 in May. Sometimes that just happens. Every year there's usually like 1 month here or there that doesn't quite do as well. But overall, we're doing quite good in June, up to 187,000. The reason it says preliminary is because they do up to like 2 or 3 modifications of the number. So these can go up or down slightly, but they should be close. And so as you can see, we just keep gaining jobs. And private sector jobs are important because that doesn't, the non-payroll farms include, or the non-farm payroll jobs include the government, but private sector jobs don't include government jobs. So private sector jobs are pretty much pure growth of the economy. And now in 2017 down here, I've got the unemployment rate. As you can see by the graph, it just keeps dropping. When Trump took over, he got in January, it was at 4.8%, and then it dropped down to 4.3% by May, and then ticked up 0.1% so in June, so we're at 4.4%. This uptick is quite normal when you've dropped, 4.8 to 4.3% in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Well, it's quite normal to then uptick because you put so many people into the job market that then some people are going to lose their jobs. So then you have the stock market was the last part. And actually, I want to show you this first. This is only after his first 100 days, but it was a good summarization. And if we look at this, we can see that the graph is still going up. So I think it still applies. So let's take a look at how the stocks did in the first 100 days. There are some charts here. So Trump in his first term, he's actually he's in the top 5 for S&P 500 growth at 5.32%, which is really interesting because when you consider the fact that Trump's building off of a lot of Obama growth because we had a recession and then the bailout helped quite a bit and Obama got a lot of the benefit from the bailout. And now all that benefit's pretty much done. And so now Obama was building success on top of failure, which is a lot easier to do than now Trump's trying to build success on top of success. That's a lot tougher. And yet he's, under his presidency, in the first 100 days, 5.32% growth is quite good. And so then we have 6.12% in the DJIA, which is 6th, it's 7th, excuse me. But this is going way back to like FDR and William Taft, and 75% change. So realistically, he could have maybe been 4th, but he was never going to be up 1st or 2nd or 3rd. But he is right in the ballpark of, doing quite well, in my opinion. And then the Trump scoreboard, they call it. Jobs, 863,000. Median monthly jobs added. Trump had 207,000. Obama 186,000, Bush 61,000, and Clinton 252,000. So Trump did pretty well. Wage growth 2.3%, Obama 2.2%, Bush 3.3%, Clinton 3.5%. But for Bush, when you're growing wages 3.3%, that's not necessarily good when you're only adding 61,000 jobs. And then there is no average here, but under Obama, 15.5%, Bush lost 3.8%, and Clinton gained 17.4%. Under Trump, we did hit a milestone, which the NASDAQ hit a 6,000 for the first time. So overall, quite a good economy any way you look at it. We have optimism, we have job growth, a different type of job growth. We have unemployment rate drop. We have, you know, increase in the stock market with a record high stock market even, and wage growth could be a little better, but it did beat Obama out actually. So even the wage growth is okay, and that should be turning around soon. So anyways, that's what I've got for you today. As you can see, Trump did well on ISIS so far, and he's done well on the economy so far. So I've got the wall, the immigration, trade deals, regulations, the Paris Accord, and the Supreme Court coming up in the future. Keep an eye out and like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one, guys.